All right. So I'm gonna get into it right away. So I'm a fan. I'm a fan of Nick Fuentes and the Women Propaganda Channel. There's a growing movement in the conservative right, and I'm very right leaning myself. Uh, I'm a black guy, and I'm so right leaning that really I don't have a home anymore. Really, because I'm not allowed to be very right leaning since I'm a black guy. Anyway, having being a Christian, having a wife and 4 kids, all that stuff, and being very anti-degeneracy. I stand with a lot of the things that Nick Fuentes champions, and I also stand with women propaganda. Once again, this new movement of the conservatives, where we hyper analyze and criticize the Trump movement. Trump was the best choice that we had. And so we did everything we could. We voted. And we're not getting the deportations the rate that we want them. We're not. There's a lot of criticisms about throwing the kitchen sink and everything we can. Anything that Israel asks for, we throw it at them without any second thought. There's a lot of love for Israel. And let's just say Israel is stepping in it. And I'll let all the other more popular political commentators maintain that ground. But either way, that's not what I want to talk about. What I want to talk about is that people really need to be wary. So one of the unique experiences that I've had in this life is that I have had all of my heroes taken from me, one by one by one. I think it's a male tendency to want to have idols. Now, none of these young men are my idols, but my point is that being a man is the most difficult thing in the world, and I know we always have to listen to like the feminist propaganda, which is always acting like the women have it the hardest, but the men have it the hardest. Everything is expected of us. Everything depends on us. And at the same time, our lives don't have value. And so it's a thankless job. But there are aspects where it's fruitful. But in the main scheme of things, it's thankless. So trying to be a man, it's commonplace. Once you see a man who's performing in a way that you can admire, you want to blueprint yourself after him. It's even more common now that we live in such a fatherless society, because of the history of feminism on the nuclear family. You have so many homes that have been utterly destroyed, and there are no dads around. I'll cover that at another time. But the fact remains, young men are for a large part not being raised in a home that has a dad teaching them how to be a man or how the world should work. So we're all trying to figure it out. That I would surmise that that's what America has become. So men are supposed to be leadership. So then if men are supposed to be leadership, then as a country progresses, the men should be passing down what they know. But since that's been stripped out of the cycle, then America is a country of young men trying to teach themselves about manhood. Okay, so then we have an affinity to idols. So I want to point out about the whole Nick Fuentes thing, the man-women propaganda thing. They're spearheading an idea that's gaining traction. It sounds right. But what people need to start bracing themselves for is that if you I promise you, do not lean in too hard on these people as idols. It hurts. It's mentally damaging to watch your idol disappoint you. You know, they say you never want to meet your heroes, stuff like that. Well, that's real. They're talking about the mental damage. So, I mean, because Nick Fuentes, for the white demographic of people, I feel for you. I was in the military for almost 10 years, and my job was combat. You know, people don't know that about the military. Not all jobs in the military are putting your life on the line. Combat in the military puts your life on the line. So those jobs are not made out of those jobs. That's what I did. And it happens to be that those jobs are not normally staffed with people of all ethnicities. Now, all ethnicities do it, but the majority of your combat are white men. I've learned to get along greatly with white men. In fact, I call white men my brothers. For all the white people that we agree on these things, we're brothers. So for the whites that are embracing the women propaganda, Nick Fuentes, white nationality, what they're saying is sounding so, you could almost say they're white whispering. They're whispering things that appeal to you so greatly. Yes, the country has a problem with targeting white people, and it's making white people want to rally. And I can totally understand why. But Nick Fuentes is not a white name. It's a Spanish name. Like the fact that his last name is Fuentes and he's supposed to be the icon of the white movement should tell you that something is up. Like when he encouraged people to storm the Capitol, which, by the way, the freaking out about January 6th is obviously op, honeypot, something like that. But he didn't get in trouble for what he encouraged people to do. Other people did. Less public people got in trouble. There's more to how people become public figures. We're talking about so much money that people don't allow people to become that successful without sitting down and talking and working out deals. I think people are being baited into something. Nick Fuentes is heavily alleged to be a sodomite. I mean, have you seen how there's a bunch of women on the internet that are all acting attractive to him now? He's a pretty famous person now. He's not even remotely talking about dating. He talks about being a virgin, and that's completely all right. I actually have respect for that. But I'm a nobody, and I'm cranking out kids. This dude can get it going. And he talks all this stuff about the white population and all this stuff. He clearly wants political power. So what kind of an example is he actually trying to set? Is that what all the young people are trying to do? Is that your goal? Just to complain? You're not just going to storm a building, raise your flag, and then all of a sudden, all women are virgins who believe in patriarchy. To lead by example, you have to be about a lot of the things that you're talking about. And it really seems like he's missing out on an opportunity to build his brand as a patriarchal family man. Doesn't he live with his mom too? And so then he gets all these allegations against him. Hell, he got caught, I think it was trans pornography, streaming it, and then he blamed it on the IDF. If he's your idol, he's already on record for many things that dismantle the very brand that he's pushing. I promise you, I'm not trying to. I don't want, how do people say it? They want smoke. I don't want smoke, but I want people aware of what to be braced for. You can get behind somebody. You just have to be able to discern what they're actually about so that you're not caught in a trick. Grifting is real. I used to be a fan of, years ago, I used to be a fan of, what was her name? That black chick. Candace Owens. At the point, Candace Owens was, her name was pushing into the spectrum of politics. And I agreed with her. For one, she's well-spoken, and she was championing these right-leaning ideas. And someone told me, they were like, did you know that she started this entire doxing website? And I looked into it, and she was a full-blown lefty. And the reason why I stopped being a fan, the reason why I took down my video, I took it down because when I looked into it and I saw that she did have a history of being a big leftist that was even going as far to try to dox people. And then she made this switch over to all of a sudden she's this big conservative pundit. Okay. The thing about somebody is everyone can be forgiven, but you have to point out what it was that made you change your mind. You have to point it out. You have to admit what you done, and you have to point out why you changed. And people will forgive you. So it was years. She was in the public forum, and she wouldn't address it. It was like it never happened. I was like, oh man, this woman is a grifter. Everything she's about is coming up with a business model that's hot. And she's just going to jump on it and ride it to pay the bills. I'm out. People are done with grifters. People should be done with grifters. The entire list of people whose content I'll engage with is shrinking and shrinking. We're past the point of who's really popular for money. I have people that I will watch that have less than 1,000 subscribers. They are so far away from having tons of subscribers, and it's because they seem genuine, and I'm on board. Women propaganda is clearly a grifter. For people that don't realize it, even if you agree with them, and I agree with them in a lot of instances, I don't like that he acts like there is a secret plan that he would implement if he ever got power for mixed people. I'll admit that. It's the reason why I would never want to see him in power. Anyways, with women propaganda, his entire origin, and he's proud to say this, he does it as a promo, where he talks about how he's one of the biggest clippers. As he brags about being a big clipper, he's telling you that he's really good at making short clips that people would want to see and making money from it. His own selling point is how well he can get an audience. He's not an actual thought leader. And so then I watch him further, and then that guy ends up punching him in the street. And he goes on this giant campaign talking about how he's not a giant pussy, and how not fighting that guy that punched him was the right move. I'm sorry, man, but a lot of you fans are coping. I still want, the best for him. If he's being genuine, I still want the best for him and his movement. When I talk about I lost all of my idols, that was your moment. You should be able to now judge him for the things that you like, but you have to be able to walk away. Being the leader of a movement, it's like hitting the lottery. The amount of things that you have to have in order to fit that role, to be an idol, the leader of a movement. It's a list that most people cannot complete. I know that he was right in a lot of senses to walk away from being punched, But for the fight that he's waging, the assignment that he's taken on, the role that he is trying to fill, he had an obligation to punch that man back. And consequences be damned. And if you don't understand that, then even you don't know what you're talking about. I know people get locked up for a lot of frivolous reasons, but that's the kind of leader you want. Somebody that's prepared to martyr themselves. And by the way, I'm not even like a knuckle dragger that thinks everything must be solved with fighting. I know that's like a stereotype about black people and how violent they are. I totally get it. I'm not a very violent person now that I'm out of the military. I'm a family man now. But, I'm talking about the adult world and how we're in a culture war. And war isn't pretty. And we're talking about beliefs and conviction. And that's really where we're at. We're at a time where we want to see people actually believe in the change that they're talking about. We want to see people care about something more than money. You definitely do not walk away as a punched man holding your face like a little woman. Anyways, that's all I wanted to point out. Is Nick Fuentes is doing a lot of good things, and there's a lot of other channels that are currently doing good things. But you're going to do yourself a disservice if you think just being a part of these movements is all you need to do. I recommend learn to grow your own food. Reach out and build communities in your area with like-minded people. Hell, use any apps you got to. Hell, use Telegram. Pick up skills that are applicable in real life. You can try to use the internet for some stuff, sure, but whatever's coming, real skills are what's going to survive. That should be your primary focus. Anyway, let's see how the rest of this plays out, and thank you for listening. I'll see you next time.